You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. Sean, a lot of people here in Purple and Gold are going to be keeping a keen eye Friday night on the Pac-12 championship game. You have a lot of Husky fans, the other Purple and Gold in this region, mostly pulling against Bo Nix, obviously. If you would give me a thought on that game, Oregon's is a favorite in the rematch here. What does Washington have to do to pull that upset? Oh, we got you muted, Sean. Sorry about that.
Good call by you. Match defensive intensity, Matty. And I can understand why LSU fans are rooting for Washington for one huge reason in particular, and that reason's going to matter this weekend. The extra game that everybody's watching. We'll get to that talk, I'm sure, in a second. But as far as that game goes, I'll tell you what, I'm a little surprised. It ought to tell you how the gambling world or Vegas setting the lines feels who's playing better with the eye test right now. I mean, they're almost a double-digit favorite.
Yeah.
After, when they played them in the regular season, that game came down to a final drive and Penix making a couple great throws at the end when Dan Lanning went for it at a time he probably shouldn't have gone for it. And they'd have had an eye. I mean, that was gutsy, and I love that he trusts his team, but it ended up backfiring on that one. I think this is two coaching staffs that are really good. Defensive stops. So with all the offense we have in mind, Penix is probably third or so in the Heisman voting. It's Bo Nix and obviously Jaden at the top. Oregon's playing better. If Washington wins, they are going to make it as 13-0. They're going. If Oregon wins, there's a few more scenarios that may come into play. I do think the Pac-12 champ is going to go regardless, especially even Oregon with one loss. If they do win by double digits on Friday, they're going to go. Both teams are high-powered. I like right now the way there's a little more smoothness and rhythm to what Dan Lanning's Oregon team's doing offensively, and I like the defensive stops. I think this is still a high-scoring game in the 30s. I don't know what the weather's going to be like. Well, it's Vegas, so it doesn't matter. It's not like it was in San Francisco, right? Yeah. Back in the day when it was in Levi Stadium in Northern California, so it won't matter. So it'll be on a fast track. But the crazy thing about it is, for me, in games like this, it's going to be that one fumble in midfield. It's going to be go for it on 4th and 3 and miss it, because you're going to match. And one thing, keep a close eye on this, Matty, what happens in the red zone. That these teams are both love to score touchdowns. Who doesn't? And both are very adept at doing it. But the team that settles for a field goal or 2 or 3 and swaps that for a Bo Nix or a Michael Penix touchdown, you don't want to be in a chase mode. Although I wouldn't tune out of this game if I was you, even if it's a 2.5 touchdown at halftime lead, because it will not be over. But I like Oregon right now, the way they're playing. And Penix has been a little up and down in their offense. More plays being made on Oregon's both sides of the ball right now than Washington. I like Oregon, but I don't know if 10 points, 9.5 seems like a lot to me in a game like this. But the Heisman will be decided in this game too, which leads back to Jaden Daniels and why LSU's involved in this, obviously.
Washington was a 3.5-point home favorite when they played in the regular season. Of course, they won that game by 3. And then this game, as Sean mentioned, Oregon a 9.5-point favorite on the neutral field.
No question.
Dramatically different. As far as the Heisman conversation, of course, that's what everybody here is talking about. We've seen the public be wrong before, Sean, and obviously we've seen the betting odds go more toward Bo Nix. The public money is coming in on Bo Nix for the reason you said. He's going to get another game here. Do you suspect that voters may lean Jaden just because he has been objectively, he has had the more productive season. I mean, that's objective when you look at all the numbers and what he's done. The subjective component is, what do you make of how they got there and what their seasons meant? Do you think potentially the voters could go opposite the public?
Oh yeah, I don't think there's any question. We've seen the movie before. I know people hate it, but the advantage of winning and having an opportunity to play in a conference championship, and shame on anybody that has a vote that doesn't wait till this weekend's over. even for a guy like Carson Beck playing Alabama, right? He may finish in the top 5 as sneaky. He's not going to win it, but going into next year, he'll be a top candidate. Is he goes and puts up, throws for 380, and maybe it gets him a trip to New York and do it. So unless you're 100% unequivocally know what you want, shame on. I let this play out over the weekend, and may make your decision easier one way or the other. But I do think the public and the Bo Nix, the public and the Heisman voters vote could go in different ways. I hope everybody takes it serious. I'm a big believer that I think I've told you this before, Maddie. They need to be watching every ounce of this game. They need to go back and watch 6 or 7 games of every player. Yeah. Don't just go by what you read in the paper, saw on social media. Study the person yourself. If you have a vote, it's part of your accountability and responsibility. This is an important award for life. It matters, and your vote is so important. Don't just say, I saw him, he's a West Coast guy, can't, or, Jaden's on a 3-loss team, blow it out, he's been great, but. Don't give me that. Watch, study it, and understand. But the advantage is he's going to be playing in a national championship Final Four appearance game, the winner more than likely going, the Heisman Trophy on the line. Eyes are going to be on him. They're going to, it's their only show in town on Friday night, which could be a disadvantage because they're doing stuff on Friday. Maybe enough eyes aren't seeing Bo Nix and Michael Penix. But to me, it can flip. The best player in America on a consistent basis this year, and he goes out and does it against a hell of a defense by rushing for $120, throwing 4 touchdowns, has been Jaden Daniels. Some voters are going to hold 3 losses against him. Some voters are going to use recency bias, and the recency bias is the most recent. I've seen guys, the Woods and Peyton Manning go out and have a monster game on the last game of the season, and it feels like that counts for 3 for some voters. Really, Matty, it does. They oh, man. I can't believe it when you say, okay, well, slow down. Let's the whole picture. It's like the same thing like when Alabama got beat by Texas early in the season. I don't understand why people say, well, it didn't really matter in September. Then why are we playing 12 of them if September didn't matter, but December does?
Amen.
It makes no sense to me. They're all games. They all matter. And it's important in the big structure of things. So please don't tell me anybody that, well, Alabama got beat by Texas early, can't reward. Well, so what? They were number 3 in the country. And with this, yes, you get an extra game, but don't just put 3 losses on the quarterback. Hell, they'd have had far more if it wasn't for the quarterback doing his thing with his feet, his arm, his mind, and elevating every single game. Every day, and the expectations, knowing if you stop Jaden Daniels, things aren't going to happen, and you still couldn't stop him. That's when I know Steph Curry's shooting 3 and I can't run him off the 3-point line, he's still knocking him down, then my defense, then we got to make some adjustments, or that guy's a freak show. Steffi is, Jaden Daniels is. Don't judge him by Sundays. I want to know this year who is the best college player day in and day out, week in and week out, all year long. It was Jaden Daniels. Bo Nix has an argument. Penix has their guys have an argument. I get that. But the best, and we're looking for the best, regardless of your criteria, has been Jaden Daniels. Now, if Bo Nix goes out, Matty, and I hate to say this to LSU fans, and throws for 375, they win by 17, he rushes for 85, and he throws 4 touchdowns, he's going to win the Heisman Trophy because that's the last thing they're going to see while it sucks. And listen, Bo Nix wouldn't have to apologize for winning. He's had a hell of a year. I'm not downgrading him because he's been in college 12 years. I mean, I get it, and I know people want to, but he's under the rules, so he's allowed to play. I understand. Both are transfers. Both are on different programs, so I get the whole thing. But watch it closely, everybody. Now, if Bo Nix and Penix battle back and forth, it's a 235-yard passing game, 1 pick, 3 touchdowns. Jaden Daniels, and I don't know when the last time a Heisman Trophy winner, maybe it's happened a bunch, lost 3 games, isn't one of the, what's that?
It was Lamar Jackson.
There you go. There you go. In Louisville.
Yeah.
That this guy, so it's rare, which all of a sudden tells you this isn't just a stat guy. The way he got to those stats was nothing short of phenomenal. So, Matty, people are going to watch it. I understand why. If Bo Nix has an average to decent game, Jaden Daniels is winning this award, even if Oregon wins the game. If Bo Nix goes off, the last thing they're going to remember before they cast their vote on December 4th, it'll be close, but Bo Nix will, the favorite, the odds for him to win it will go more in his favor And if not, if they're struggling at halftime, it's one of those games. Jaden Daniels is going to run up and get this Heisman Trophy, and he also won't have to apologize one friggin' bit for taking it. I would vote for him today, but I'm also waiting to see what happens because I think it's going to be a really close ballot regardless of the result of Friday night's game between Washington and Oregon.
That is true. For the first time in a long time, it feels like we might be sitting in New York City a week from
Agreed.
Saturday going, whose name are they going to read out?
100%. Even if Bo plays really good, there's still going to be a groundswell for the overall body of work. And Bo's had a great overall body of work. So has Penix. But the best body of work, I didn't say the better, I said the best. The best body of work resides in Baton Rouge, and it's Jaden Daniels to date. I would have loved it if he was getting ready to play Georgia in this game. And just I would. Then it's on, right? It comes down the way it's supposed to be, right? Both are playing. But I'll tell you what he's done, though. He's posted his score, and Bo Nix knows, because just as much as you can win it on the last day of the season like this, you can also lose it by throwing 2 picks on a tip ball, even if somebody didn't see it. So while Bo Nix also has more pressure on him now because he's got to go out. He's thinking team, but that Heisman Trophy's looming for him because that never goes away once somebody puts that on your back. You're the Heisman Trophy winner. Yeah. I can't wait to see Friday night's game and how this result turns out.
That is immortality. Sean Salisbury's on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. I'll give him a follow. It's great to be with us every single Tuesday here during football season. We always appreciate it, man. Thanks so much. Have a great one.
My pleasure. Go Tigers, man. It should be a fun one this weekend. Thanks, brother.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.